Darating ba si Mr. si Jimmy Joseph?
Sir, he will join online daw po.
Morning, Jimmy. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Pwede na?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's BAC Bravo session. Today is September 25, 2023. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded. This is Catherine Barceliano from the Secretariat, and with the indulgence of everyone and the permission of the Chair, allow me to conduct the roll call. Kindly confirm your attendance once I mention your name. Thank you. Of course, acknowledging first the presence of our presiding officer today, our Vice Chairperson, um, Major General Ricardo Banayat. Good morning, sir.
Present? Good morning.
From the members, present today is Attorney Frank Edward Marty.
Good morning, present.
Good morning po. Present online is Engineer Jaime D. Cosep. Good morning, sir.
Good morning po. Correction for the name, Jaime M.
Cosep.
Joseph po.
Thank you for that correction, sir. Noted. We also have members from our end user, ANS, CSIS, ODG, and AFS, sir. Members from the technical working group are also present together with the BAC Secretariat. And with the majority of the BAC member present today, sir, we have a quorum. For the presentation, we also have representative from the procurement, and we also send invitation to COA resident auditor, PCCI, and GOEBJFI, PICE, EAS, PCAI, and the PADPAO. For the presentation of the agenda, I will hand you over now to Engineer Norik Baez. Thank you.
Before that, I have talked with Attorney Lucas. I will be joining virtually. So maybe in a short while he will be here, be joining. So anyway, we can proceed with our bidding for today.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to everyone. First, on our agenda proper for today's meeting is the pre-bid conference for the provision of comprehensive maintenance support services for 29 GE ABB UPS of various ANFS under bid number 23-033-09 Bravo with an ABC of 16,350,000 pesos on ANS project. Before we start the private conference presentation, Secretariat, may we invite the prospective bidders to join the conference?
Are there interested bidders for this item present? May we request to identify yourselves po and the company you are representing? Any interested bidders po online? Parang may isa. Um, May we request na lang po, if your mic is unavailable, you can put your name po in the chat box and the company you are representing. Thank you. Acknowledging the presence of our chairperson, Attorney Danjon G. Lucas. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm requesting the Vice Chair to continue presiding on my behalf. Thank you.
With that, Mr. Chair, we have one prospective bidder who posted a message identifying themselves for this project. And we'll now proceed, Mr. Chair, for the presentation of the private conference.
For the record, anong pangalan ng bidder and
Yes,
company,
Mr. Chair.
please?
I'm sorry about that. The representative from P2RO Incorporated, represented by Ms. Marinel Viray, Mr. Chair, is joining this conference online.
Okay, noted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, welcome to the private conference for the project provision of comprehensive maintenance support services for 29 GEABB uninterruptible power supplies of various ANFs. This will be the outline of the presentation for this conference. So it's divided into sections as shown on the screen, with the starting with the invitation to bid, the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS, the general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC or special conditions of the contract, the schedule of requirements, technical specifications, checklist, and at the end of the presentation, there will be a discussion or any clarification from our prospective bidders. Starting off with the invitation to bid, CAAP, through the CAAP Corporate Operating Budget of fiscal year 2023, intends to apply the sum of 16,350,000 pesos, being the ABC to payments under the contract for each lot. So bids received in excess of the ABC for each lot shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. CAAP now invites for the above procurement project, delivery of the goods is required by 365 calendar days. Bidders should have completed within 7 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. The description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2 of the instructions to bidders. So bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens, sole proprietorships, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines, and to citizens or organizations of a country, the laws or regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA 51A3. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from BAC Secretariat and inspect the bidding documents at the address that will be given later on the following slide during 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday, except declared holidays and suspension of work. A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders since September 15, 2023, until the deadline of submission from the given address and websites, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 28,000 pesos, which is inclusive of VAT. The procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees through email. CAAP will hold, or is actually holding this conference through video conferencing, which is also open to prospective bidders. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat by manual submission at the office address that will be shown later on the slide on or before October 9, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in the ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on October 9, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. at the given address. And bids will be open in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with sections 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. And for further information, please refer to Ms. Gary M. J.D., the head of BAC Secretariat, with the given contact information as shown on the slide. You may also visit the websites listed on the screen, where you can also download the bidding documents and also the forms, standard forms under the GBPB. Moving on to the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS. In this section of the presentation, I won't be going through each of the ITB. Instead, I will be presenting the specific requirements relative to the standard clauses of the ITB. More on the eligibility of bidders for ITB Clause 5.3. For this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be a supply, delivery, installation of GE and/or ABB UPS modules, spare parts and consumables, and repair and troubleshooting of GE and/or ABB UPS. And B, completed within 7 years prior to the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. Yes. Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Continuing on to additional requirement for the bid prices, the price of the goods shall be quoted DDP, CAAP Mir Road, Pasay City, or the applicable international commercial terms or Incoterms for this project. For the bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. A, the amount of not less than 327,000 pesos if bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft or guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit. Or B, the amount of not less than 817,500 pesos if bid security is in surety bond. For the sealing and marking of bids, each page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical, and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs or ear tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order. So pagination shall be sequential all throughout the documents inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. Each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second components of its bid. And per CAAP memorandum dated September 17, 2018, regarding the disqualification of prospective bidders and with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of CAAP, all prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following: A, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the revised IRR of RA 9184. B, legal clearance to be issued by CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. And C, certificate of authorized distributor and service provider for GE, ABB UPS from General Electric or ABB Corporation. This slide shows the illustration of how the bidder will be able to comply with the sealing and marking of bids, how the documents sections should be placed with index tabs, and the signing of each and every pages with the pagination of each page as well. While this illustration shows how the eligibility documents and technical requirements should be compiled into the first envelope, while the second envelope be containing the financial proposal to be submitted as the complete bid. Moving on to the general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC. Further on the scope of the contract, the delivery and documents. So the delivery of goods shall be made by the supplier in accordance with the terms specified in Section 6 of the Schedule of Requirements. For purposes of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is Engineer Darwin V. Calio, Acting Division Chief 3, Electromechanical Monitoring and Inspection Division of Air Navigation Operations Department. For the incidental services, the supplier must provide all services, including extras in Section 6, maintain and repair goods. and sup-
Question?
Yes,
Question?
Mr. Chair.
Saan yung project site?
It's,
At the project site?
it's
The
various-
Second paragraph? Oo.
it's for the various air navigation facilities, Mr. Chair.
Do you have a specific place, yung project site na yan?
End user, can we provide the answer?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Nandun siya sir sa dulo po ng bid documents, yung mga selected sites. Mostly these are the radar sites incorporated with the phase 2 of CNS ATM project.
So, these are radar sites.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
You can enumerate them other than, you
I-
can verbally enumerate them?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Actually, it's part of the presentation where we will show the schedule of
Okay.
requirements,
We'll
Mr. Chair.
We'll wait for that.
Yes,
Please
sir.
proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Continuing on to the incidental services. So the supplier must provide all services, including extras in Section 6, maintain and repair goods, and supply the necessary tools. The contract price includes these services and must not exceed the standard rates. For the packaging, the supplier must package the goods to prevent damage during transit, considering rough handling, extreme weather, and storage conditions. The packaging should account for the remoteness of the destination and lack of heavy handling facilities. It must comply with the contract's requirements and any additional instructions from the procuring entity. As for the transportation, still under the scope of the contract, the supplier is responsible for arranging and paying for the transport of goods to the specified destination in the Philippines, with costs included in the contract price. This is actually the reiteration of the BDS requirement for ITB clause on the bid prices. And lastly, for the intellectual property rights, the supplier shall indemnify the procuring entity against all third-party claims of infringement of patent, trademark, or industrial design rights arising from the use of the goods or any part thereof. For the inspection and tests, functionality and reliability tests will be conducted after the maintenance. This is the schedule of requirements. Well, we'll be showing, most likely the sites where the UPS are located, Mr. Chair. So we have it listed on the table. We have them itemized into 4 major items. The first item being or rather listing the 29 UPS, stating also the locations of those UPS, Mr. Chair. We have Silay Airport, Calibo Radar Station, Mactan Radar, Palawan Radar, Bacolod Silay Airport, Naiya 2 Radar Site, Mount Magic Radar, Apari Radar, Zamboanga Radar, Luwag Radar, Panglao Bohol Airport, Panglao Bohol Airport for the 20 kVA. The other one is 10 kVA, Mr. Chair. Panglao Bohol Airport again for the 30 kVA. And 100 kVA is still for the Panglao Bohol Airport. And then 30 kVA for Davao Radar, Mr. Chair. For the second item,
We know why there are additional UPS requirement for Bacolod and Panglao. May 100 kVA sa Panglao and a 30 kVA. Bakit why apat sa Panglao? Sa Bacolod, 3. 3. Do you have my...
End user?
Yeah, these UPS, Mr. Chair, are serving different equipment. So since all of these are GE/ABB model, I mean brand UPS, so that's why iba-iba po yung ano niya, rating. But they belong to the same group, kaya iba-iba po, hiniwalay po namin kasi iba-iba yung board niya, iba-iba but the same maker, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, thank you.
So basically, this slide lists the schedule of requirements. What would be the list of items that must be complied with by the bidder? Moving on to the technical specifications, I would like to put an emphasis. The technical specifications is more about the statement of compliance of the bidder on all the previous items that was shown earlier on the schedule of requirements itemized under 1 to 4, and there is an additional line for the technical specification, which is the notarized certificate of authorized distributor and or service provider for GE, ABB UPS from General Electric or ABB Corporation. So we are requiring the bidder to provide their compliance statement if they will be able to provide this documentary requirement. Moving on to the checklist of the documents that must be submitted for this bid for the project. For the technical component envelope, we have the legal documents. A, the valid PhilJEPS registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages in accordance with section 8.5.2 of the IRR. For the technical documents, B, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. And C, statement of the bidder's SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided for in sections 24.4.1.3 and 23.4.2.4 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 within the relevant period as provided in the bidding documents. Original copy of bid security, if in the form of the surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid security declaration in conformity with the technical specifications, which may include production delivery schedule, manpower requirements, and or after sales parts if applicable, and original duly signed OSS, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original SPA of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to each officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. G, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority, and H, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government, and in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the revised IRR of RA 9184. And then L, copy of original notarized certificate of employment for at least 1 year with the company for corporation or ownership or co-ownership for single proprietorship or joint venture of the professional electrical engineer that will sign and seal the final reports. And J, notarized copy of certificate of authorized distributor and service provider for GE, ABB UPS from General Electric or ABB Corporation, and a copy of bid bulletins if applicable. For the financial documents, the prospective bidder's computation of NFCC or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. For the Class B documents, letter M, if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. And for the financial component envelope, we they need to submit the original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and the original of duly signed and accomplished price schedules. Other documentary requirements under RA 9184 as applicable for foreign bidders claiming violation of their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos, certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in government procurement activities for the same item or product, and the certification from DTI if the bidder claims preference as a domestic bidder or domestic entity. That would be all, Mr. Chair. Um, we may entertain the questions if we have any from our prospective bidder. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, clarifications from our would-be bidders? Will you read that? Pakibasa.
Yes, Mr. Chair. There's a question from Ms. Merinel Viray saying, would CAAP reconsider and allow other UPS service provider other than GE brand? It would be more advantageous to CAAP and government by allowing other UPS bidders. End user, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Uh, the brand of the UPS is GE slash ABB. So we are expecting that the service provider would be authorized distributor or a service provider of GE UPS, GE ABB UPS only, Mr. Chair.
You are saying that this is very specific requirement that it should come from GE or ABB. Uh,
Yes, Mr. Chair, because there are boards that needs to be replaced with of course coming from the original equipment manufacturer. So of course the boards that will be used in such maintenance activity should also be GE brand.
uh, is this a compatibility issue?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Arroyo. Thank you. So, Miss Marinil Biray, does that answer your query? So, thank you. Any more questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have a raised hand from Ms. Jen Raposa. Ms. Jen Raposa, kindly open your mic and identify yourself. Identify the company you're connected with before you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning. Yes. Good morning, sirs. I'm from Aspects Inc. Incorporated. And my question is for the similar contract project. Is it possible po ba na same since the project is comprehensive maintenance po ng UPS, is it you can consider po ba na yung single largest is also a comprehensive maintenance but not the same brand po ng UPS?
Albert, please.
Siguro Mr. Chair, may we request na lang to submit the supplier to submit the question into writing, then so that we can discuss about that.
Okay, sir, noted po.
Thank you. We have another question from Miss Marinel Biray. Can you read that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. There's a message from Ms. Marinel Viray saying if PC board is defective, we can replace the whole UPS. Replace with other UPS brand. Albert, please.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, Mr. Chair, the the uh, the budget allocated for this project is for the different for various sites. So if we will be replacing the whole UPS, so mas magastos yun. So as much possible, if we can extend the serviceable life of the UPS, so gagawin po natin yon.
If I may, Mr. Chair. Maybe just to reply, Mr. Chair, to the query of Ms. Biray. Yes, we will just take note of your clarifications or queries here, and perhaps the technical working group together with the end user will come up with a reply on this through bid bulletin, clarifying all these comments and clarifications. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions? There being no more questions, clarifications, any recommendation, TWG?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Being there's no question being raised in this meeting, we'd like to inform our prospective bidders that they still have a chance to raise their queries through writing, through the BAC Secretariat. They have until 10 days prior to the opening of the bids, Mr. Chair. May we recommend to finally close this conference for this project, Mr. Chair?
Any motion on that? Wala na. So let's close this pre-bid for UPS for various ANFS sites.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretariat, the prospective bidders who attend present for the conference can now be excused.
Yes po. Before we proceed to the next item on the agenda, we would like to thank all the interested bidders of the previous item for joining the meeting. You may now be excused. Thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Chair, to the next agenda item. Agenda item 2.2, for the purchase installation, a pre-bid conference for the purchase installation of DEGS and control cubicle for Tagaytay radar facility under bid number 23-032-09 Bravo with an ABC of 6,043,212 pesos on ANS project. This will be presented by Ms. April, who is online.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Please allow me to present my screen. For a while. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Ms. April.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. For the item 2.2 for pre-bid conference for the project purchase installation of DEGS and control cubicle for Tagaytay radar facility with ABC amounting to 6,043,212 with bid number 23-032-09 Bravo. Secretariat, is there any prospective bidders for this project?
May we know po if there are representative from the bidders? Kindly state your name po and the company you are representing. Thank you.
Good morning. Edwin Rivera po from Gen Diesel Philippines Inc.
Noted, Sir Edwin. Good morning. Any other bidders po?
I think we only have one, Ms. April. With the indulgence of Mr. Chair, may we proceed, Mr. Chair, for the conference to... Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So for the pre-bid conference for the project purchase installation of DEGS and control cubicle, our Tagaytay radar facility. For the outline, we have invitation to bid, instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS, general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC, schedule of requirements, technical specification, checklist, and afterwards we have discussion or clarifications. So the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, through the CAAP Corporate Operating Budget calendar year 2023, intends to apply the sum of 6,043,212 pesos, being the ABC of payments under the contract for the purchase installation.
Sorry to interrupt,
Oh.
Ms. April.
Yes, sir.
I think the shared screen is not the one you're reading.
For a while, sir, I'll just check.
What is shared is the normal view. Thank you.
I'll share again my screen. Sorry for that. How about this one, sir?
You're sharing the normal view. If you want, I'll be sharing the presentation view for you, and then
Okay,
just
sir.
let me know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Sir Norik. So to continue, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, through the CAAP Corporate Operating Budget calendar year 2023, intends to apply the sum of 6,043,212 pesos, being the ABC, to payments under the contract for the purchase installation of DEGS and control cubicle at Tagaytay radar facility with project identification number 23-032-09 Bravo. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. The CAAP now invites bids for the above project delivery of goods in required by 150 calendar days upon receipt of the notice to proceed. Bidders should have completed within 5 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. The description on an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2, Instruction to Bidders. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations of RA 9184. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizen, sole proprietorships, partnerships, or organizations with the least 60% interest of outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines, and to citizens or organizations of the country, the laws or regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizen pursuant to RA number 5183. And prospective bidders may obtain further information from CAAP with the address we will show later. A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders on 15 September until deadline of submission of bids from the given dates, from the given address and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines of GPPB in the amount of 11,200 inclusive of VAT. The procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees in person. Also, the CAAP would hold a pre-bid conference, that's today, through a video conferencing, and which shall be open to prospective bidders. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat, manual submission at the office address indicated below on or before on the 9th of October 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on 9th of October 2023 at 9:30 a.m. at a given address or via a online conference. Bid will be open in the presence of the bidder's representatives who choose to attend the activity. The CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. For further information, you may contact Mr. Gary MJD, the head of BAC Secretariat, with the telephone number listed below, or you can download the bidding docs at the CAAP website. Instruction to bidders. Next, sir, we'll just discuss the for item 5.3, ANDAL eligible for bidders. For this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be A, supply and installation of diesel engine generator set or DEGS, including control cubicle or low voltage switchgear, and B, completed within 5 years prior to the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. Next, sir. For instruction to bidders under subcontract 7.1, subcontracting is not allowed for this project. For instruction to bidder under 10.1, as per CAAP memorandum dated September 17, 2018, redisqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of the CAAP. All prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following: 1, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case or cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirement for bidders as prescribed under 2016 revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184. And 2, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pendency of any case of prospective bidders against the authority. B, certificate of site inspection and other requirements. Other requirements are specified in Section 8, checklist of technical and financial documents. For site inspection certificate shall be part of bid submission. ANS will coordinate for schedule of visit, certificate of site inspection, inspection form, Annex A, and any update. Bidder shall propose the schedule and send the details of their visiting personnel, example, the name, photocopy of ID. Inspection can be conducted any day of the week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For purpose of this clause, the procuring entity representative of the project site is Mr. Ricardo M. Season, facility in charge for ANS Tagaytay Radar Facility, or his or her any authorized representative of Tagaytay Radar Facility, Tagaytay City. Bid not complying with above instruction shall be disqualified. For bid prices, the price of the goods shall be quoted DDP Tagaytay Radar Facility, Province of Cavite, or the applicable international commercial terms, Incoterms for this project. Next, sir. For bid security, the bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. Letter A, the amount of not less than 120,864.24 pesos if bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft or guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit. Or letter B, the amount of not less than 302,160.60 pesos if bid security is in surety bond. For sealing and markings of bids, Each and every page thereof shall be initialed or signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility technical financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form. For example, the given example later, pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole documents inside the envelope. Bids not qualifying with the above instruction but shall be automatically disqualified. And number 2, each bidder shall submit one original bid. So these are examples for initials, pagination, and each pages should be properly signed. Next, sir. Also, this is an illustration on how the bidders will comply in their submission of the bid documents. Thank you, sir. Next. For instruction to bidders under 21.1, signing of the contract, additional contract documents relevant to the project shall be submitted to the procuring entity together with the technical proposals are the following. Number 1, single line diagram or electric layout showing equipment or devices to be supplied at the powerhouse. Number 2, powerhouse floor plan showing layout of equipment devices to be supplied. Number 3, certificate of exclusive or authorized distributorship issued by the original equipment manufacturer of equipment to be supplied. Number 4, copy of the PRC certificate of professional mechanical engineer or professional electrical engineer. And number 5, all drawings shall be signed and sealed by professional mechanical engineer or professional electrical engineer. Bidders who fail to comply shall be disqualified. So for general conditions, scope of contract under the project site is in Powerhouse at Tagaytay Radar Air Navigation Facility, Tagaytay City, Province of Cavite, Philippines. So under delivery and documents for purpose of the contract, the other trademarks used to describe the obligations of the parties shall have the meaning assigned to them by the current edition of Incoterms published by the International Chambers of Commerce, Paris. The delivery terms of this contract shall be as follows. For goods, the delivery terms applicable of the contract are DP delivered Tagaytay Radar Facility, Province of Cavite, in accordance in Incoterms. Sorry for that. The delivery terms applicable for this contract are delivered Tagaytay Radar Facility, Province of Cavite. Risk and title will pass from the supplier to the procuring entity upon receipt and final acceptance of the goods at their final destination. Still under scope of contract, upon shipment, the supplier shall notify the procuring entity and the insurance company the full details of the shipment, including contract number, description of the goods, quantity, vessel, bill of landing number and date, port of loading, date of shipment, port of discharge, etc. Upon delivery of the project site, the supplier shall notify the procuring entity and present the following documents as applicable with documentary requirements of any letter of credit issued taking precedence. First, original and 4 copies of the supplier's invoice showing goods description, quantity, unit price, and total amount. Second, the original and 4 copies of negotiable, clean, shipped onboard bill of landing marked, freight prepaid, and 5 copies of the non-negotiable bill of lading. Third, original supplier's factory inspection report. Fourth, the original and 4 copies of a manufacturer's and supplier's warranty certificate. Fifth, the original and 4 copies of the certificate of origin for imported goods. Next, delivery receipt detailing number and description of items received signed by the procuring entity representative at the project site. Seventh, certificate of acceptance or inspection report signed by the procuring entity representative at the project site. And lastly, 4 copies of the invoice receipt for property signed by the procuring entity representative at the project site. So delivery of the goods shall be made by the supplier in accordance with the terms specified in Section 7. And for purpose of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is the FIC, Tagaytay Radar Facility, or his or her authorized representative. Still under scope of contract for incidental services, the supplier is required to provide all the following services, including additional services, if any, specified in Section 6, Schedule of Requirements. A. Performance or supervisions of on-site assembly and/or startup of the supplied goods. B. Furnishing of tools required for assembly and/or maintenance of supplied goods. C. Furnishing of essentials assembly parts for the operational safety protection of the supplied goods. D. Furnishing of a detailed operations and maintenance manual for each appropriate unit of the supplied goods. E. Performance or supervision or maintenance and/or repair of the supplied goods for a period of time agreed by the parties, provided that the service shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligations under this contract. And F. Training of the procuring entity's personnel shall be conducted at the supplier's plant and/or on-site in assembly, startup, operation, maintenance, and/or repair of the supplied goods, and/or during handover stage of the system operation, including minor troubleshooting of the system. Letter G, factory acceptance, test, commissioning, and testing of installed generator systems. H, applicable fees for required licenses and permits to operate. And letter I, as-built plans and drawings. The contract price of the goods shall include the prices changes by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to the other parties by the supplier for similar services. Still under scope of contract for spare parts, the supplier is required to provide all the following materials, notifications, and informations pertaining to spare parts manufactured or distributed by the supplier. A. Such spare parts as the procuring entity may elect or purchase from the supplier, provided that this election shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligations under this contract. And B. In the event of termination of production of the spare parts, first, advance notification of the procuring entity of the pending termination in sufficient time to permit the procuring entity to procure needed requirements. And second, following such termination, furnishing at no cost to the procuring entity the blueprints, drawings, and specifications of spare parts if requested. So the supplier shall carry sufficient inventories to assure exact supply of consumable spare parts or components of the goods for a period of 10 years. Spare parts or a component shall be supplied as promptly as possible, but in any case within 3 months of placing the order. Next, sir. Still under scope of contract for packaging, the supplier shall provide such packaging of the goods as is required to prevent their damage or deterioration during transits to their final destination, as indicated in this contract. The packaging shall be sufficient to withstand without limitation rough handling during transit and exposure to extreme temperatures, salt, and precipitation during transit and open storage. Packaging case, size, and weight shall take into consideration, where appropriate, the remoteness of the goods' final destination and the absence of heavy handling facilities at all points in transit. The packaging, marking, and documentation within and outside the packages shall comply strictly with such special requirements and shall be expressly provided for in the contract, including additional requirements, if any, specified below and in any subsequent instruction ordered by the procuring entity. The outer packaging must be clearly marked on at least 4 sides as follows: name of the procuring entity, name of the supplier, contract description, final destination, gross weight, any special lifting instruction, any special handling instruction, and any relevant HASCEM classifications. For transportation, still under scope of contract, where the supplier is required to under contract to deliver the goods, CIF, CID, or DDP, transport of the goods to the port of destination or such other named place of destination in the Philippines as shall be specified in the contract shall be arranged and paid for by the supplier, and the cost thereof shall be included in the contract price. Where the supplier is required under the contract to transport the goods to a specified place of destination within the Philippines, defined as the project site, transport to such place of destination in the Philippines, including insurance and storage, as shall be specified in this contract, shall be arranged by the supplier, and related costs shall be included in the contract price. where the supplier is required under contract to deliver the goods CIF, CIP, or DDP, goods are to be transported on carriers of Philippine registry. In the event that no carrier of Philippine registry is available, goods may be shipped by a carrier which is not of Philippine registry, provided that the supplier obtains and presents to the procuring entity certification to this effect from the nearest Philippine consulate to the port of dispatch. In the event that carriers of Philippine registry are available but their schedule delays the supplier in its performance of this contract, the period from which when the goods were first ready for shipment and the actual date of shipment, the period of delay will be considered force majeure. Next, sir. So the procuring entity accepts no liability for the damage of goods during transit other than those prescribed by Incoterms for DDP deliveries in the case of goods supplies from within the Philippines or supplied by domestic suppliers. Risk and title will not be deemed to be passed to the procuring entity under the receipt and final acceptance at the final destination. For scope of contract under intellectual property rights, the supplier shall indemnify the procuring entity against all third-party claims for infringement of patent, trademark, or industrial design rights arising from the use of the goods or any part thereof. For advance payment terms of payment for 2.1, no mobilization fees or advance payment shall be extended or paid to any project for the procurement of goods and services. Payment shall be made upon completion of the project. For inspections and tests, the inspection and tests will be conducted in accordance with Section 7, Technical Specification. The following tests are as follows. First, commissioning test. Example, factory acceptance test, installation test, functioning test, integration test, and calibration. Second, acceptance test at Tagaytay Radar Facility Powerhouse, which include verification of installation, performance tests, remote monitoring of control test, documentation, and handover. Under warranty, the project has a total number of 2 years warranty period. The warranty covers a 1-year full maintenance service warranty upon the completion of the project, or known as defectable liability warranty period, the DLP, followed by another 1-year service warranty period. DLP refers to full maintenance service and replacement of defective parts at no extra cost to the procuring entity. For the schedule of requirements, so we have the total for 5 months or 150 days. These are being expressed in once all of this will be at the project site. Next, sir. For technical specifications, we have 1 lot of open type, complete accessories. So all of these technical specifications is on the bidding documents. The suppliers can check it there and for these technical specifications. Next, sir, Nori. For last one, checklist. So for technical component envelope, Class A documents, legal document, letter A, valid PhilJEPS registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages in accordance with Section 8.2.5 of the IRR. For technical documents, letter B, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. And C, statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided for in sections 23.4.1.3 and 23.4.2.4 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 within the relevant period provided in the bidding documents. And D, original copy of bidding security, if in the form of a security bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid security declaration Annex E. And letter E, conformity with the technical specifications, which may include production, delivery, schedule, manpower requirements, and or after-sales part if applicable. And F, original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, Annex B, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney for all members of the joint venture giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. G, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government in addition to the eligibility requirement for bidders as prescribed under 2016 revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184. H, legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP ELS with respect to the non-pendency of any case of prospective bidders against the authority. I, the following document shall be submitted together with a technical proposal. One, certificate of site inspection, Annex A, duly signed by the Tagaytay radar facility in charge or his or her duly authorized representative. This shall include all the following documents as attachment to the certificate of inspection. Copy of company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection and copy of the airport facility visitors logbook appearing the names and signatures of inspectors and picture of the proposed site including the personnel who conducted the site inspection together with the ANS facility in charge and his or her authorized duly representative. Number 2, single line diagram or electrical layout showing equipment devices to be supplied at the powerhouse. Number 3, certificate of exclusive authorized distributorship issued by the original equipment manufacturer of equipment to be supplied. 4, copy of the PRC certificate of or clear copy of professional mechanical engineer or professional electrical engineer. 5, all design drawings shall be signed and sealed by the professional ME or professional EE. 6, bid bulletin if any. For financial documents, the prospective bidders computation of NFCC or a committed line of credit for a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. For Class B documents, letter K, if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statement from all the potential joint venture projects stating that they will enter and abide by the provisions of the GVA in instance that the bid is successful. For financial component envelope, letter L, original or duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, Annex C, and original of duly signed and accomplished price schedule, Annex D. Other documentary requirements under RA 9184 as applicable. Certification from the relevant government office of the country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in government procurement activities for the same item or product, and certification of the DTI if the bidder claims preference as a domestic bidder or domestic entity. So that's all. We're now open for discussion or clarification for the prospective bidders of this project, purchase installation of DEGS and control cubicle for Tagaytay radar facility.
Maraming salamat. Any questions, clarifications from our would-be bidders?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes, please.
This is Edwin from Gen Diesel. Just want to ask, since this project includes installation, I noticed that there was no requirement for the presentation of the PCAB license. I think PCAB license should also be part of the requirement because this includes installations of the generator sets and other components like the LVSG.
The chair, may we request the end user? I think Ms. Engineer Vega is around, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. To answer the query of Mr. Edwin Rivera, the project is under the goods procurement procurement of goods, so we do not require the pickup license. And most of the projects is replacement of existing or old existing generators. So in that case, we go with the procurement of goods and not for the infrastructure project po. Kaya we do not require a pickup license.
Yes, sir, but replacement also requires actual or physical installations of the equipment.
Yes, but we decided po, yung end user decided na ilagay ito sa procurement of goods because ang aming stand po dyan is that yung cost po kasi ng mga goods natin is more than doon po sa cost ng ating labor po. So that's why we consider po yung goods. And at the same time po, ito na po yung the end user select ko na gamitin natin yung procurement of goods. And this also entice other bidders to join this project po.
Okay, sir. I just raised this concern kasi medyo ticklish din kasi yung scope ng installations considering that there's an existing generator sets, so meaning naka-live na ito at medyo critical lang yung installation scope of works, so for electrical and both electrical and mechanical. Okay.
That's why we also include yung mga plans ninyo will be signed by a professional electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer dun po sa signing of contract. That's why we require you to submit pa rin yung mga plans, floor plans.
Okay. Then I hope that this the pickup license will be considered for this in case that in case na mapag-usapan on your end na kung i-include to or hindi na. Okay, next question is yung tools and spare parts. I saw these items in the bid docs. Can you we're requesting a detail or a list of all these tools and spare parts. Ito ba'y dapat i-supply namin after the testing and commissioning? And what are the tools and the spare parts that you will need?
Yeah, just look po doon po sa natin, sa specification and doon sa ating schedule of requirements.
And schedule. Okay. So sige sir, tingnan ko na lang po. If ever any question ako sir, I'll just send a letter to BAC, to BAC Secretariat po para kung may further question ako about regarding this particular item.
Yes, sir. We encourage you to put it on writing and better to state your valid reason po. So we may consider po yung mga request niyo.
Okay.
Of course, through bid bulletin po namin sasagutin yan.
Okay.
Thank you po.
So regarding the professional mechanical engineer, will you require the PME to be a regular employee of the bidder?
No, it does not state in the contract.
Okay. Kasi you can prepare.
You can hire if you want.
Yeah, pwedeng i-mag-hire po. Okay. So
yes.
Hindi siya regular employee ng bidder.
Yes. What we are concerned about is to deliver the goods. And at the end of the day, gagana po yung ating equipment.
Okay. And then the FAT coverage, sir, the factory acceptance test coverage po. So that's 5 days. I think four packs or representatives. May I know the what particular test that should be conducted in the factory? Will you accept a standard FAT procedure of the factory for that? That's load bank test, visual, checking all the, sir, the usual parameters. Baka kasi
Yes,
sir,
sir.
meron
An
yung,
industry standard for factory acceptances will be accepted.
okay.
That will be determined by our inspector po.
Mhm. Will it be possible, sir, to reduce the number of days?
You will reduce the number of days.
Yeah. Oh,
That will be advantageous to us if we will reduce the number of days of. What do you mean, the completion of days?
yes, sir. That's I think 5 days.
Yung the factory acceptance
Yeah.
test.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we put it in
If
writing
you're
and
able
we will
to,
consider
okay.
it.
Okay, boss.
Yung amount kasi sir, nakakompute na yun dun sa 5 days doon sa ating.
Okay,
Kaya
sir.
hindi na siguro possible but we will consult yung team technical working group for that.
Okay.
Kung hindi po natin siya masagot sa bid bulletin, meaning po hindi po siya na-approve.
Okay. Also, yun nga sir, nabanggit kanina, I intend to ask kung goods or infra project yung itong sa Tagaytay. So it was mentioned na goods and there was no advance payment.
Yes po. Ayun po yung law eh.
Anyway, sir, I'll just send a letter na rin din kung sana makonsider yung DP for this. Kasi in reality, there's an installation involved in this particular project.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anyway, lastly, sir, yung warranty, no, it was mentioned 2 years warranty for the equipment and 1 year for the maintenance po ba yun, sir? Nakita ko lang kanina sa screen, hindi ko na
Okay, to clarify that, yung 1 year po yung defective liability period.
Okay.
It is maintenance and service warranty. After a year, service warranty na lang po yun.
So lumalabas, sir, so defective after service. So sir, ibig sabihin after 1 year ng DLP, saka pa lang papasok yung 1 year na for the maintenance. Tama po ba?
Hindi po, full coverage po yung 1 year.
So ibig sabihin sir, sabay sila sir, yung 1 year na DLP, for example sir, natapos ng 2023, no? So 2024 yung DLP period and 2024 na rin yung full service maintenance.
Magiging service warranty na lang po yun.
Okay. Service warranty. Okay. Tapos, terms of payment, ano pa ba? Okay. So sir, yun na lang po muna sir. If ever meron pa maisip pa akong clarification, I'll just put it in writing na lang po.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hanggang ilan po ang deadline ng query po?
If I may, Mr. Chair, Sir Edwin De Vera, you may formally submit your further queries or clarifications to this project up until 10 days before the opening of bids po.
10 days before. Okay, sir. Noted po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
That's all po. That's all po. Thank you.
Any more questions? Any motion on this? Wala? So, let's proceed with the other, there being no questions, let's proceed to the other agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Sir Edwin Rivera, for joining this private conference. You can now be excused.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you po. Bye-bye po.
Thank you, sir. And now, Mr. Chair, moving on to the next agenda item.
Please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, for the determination or confirmation of mode of procurement, agenda item 3.1, purchase request internet subscription for CATC Manila Tower Power Plant and Manila Transmitter with CBA number 23-06589 with in the amount of 302,400 pesos, an ODG MISD project. End user, please.
Good morning po, si Cheryl po from MIS to present dun tungkol po dun sa internet connection subscription for CATC Manila Tower Power Plant and the Manila Transmitter. Permission to share my screen, sir. Sharing my screen.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Miss Che, very briefly
Yes.
lang Please present
Yes,
very
brief na brief.
briefly. Okay.
Yes, very briefly. So as a background po, ito po yung subscription na for the 3 sites mentioned. Sa CATC po, 2 accounts. Tapos sa Manila Tower sa transmitter, tig-isang account. So yung specification po niya kasi is up to 200 Mbps lang. May router at saka installation na kailangan. So nag-come up dun sa price. Ang estimate niya kasi for 1 account, dahil corporate account siya, more or less nasa 6,300 per month. So 1 year is 75,600. So yung total po niya for the 3 sites is 302,000. So kasi nangyari first dun sa certificate of budget allocation from the internet subscription expenses, ang mode of procurement niya po is kasi nakalagay doon is competitive bidding kasi total po siya ng 4.2 million. Tapos nung kumuha po sa budget, nag-allot po doon dahil subscription siya for sa mga nagagamit po yan sa mga facilities natin. So during po doon sa CCC meeting, nag-recommend po sila ng presentation for the change of procurement. So yung back reso po kasi is needed by the CAAP CCC for the procurement activities to commence. So ang request po sana ng end user ng MIS is change ng mode of procurement from competitive bidding to small value procurement. Tapos thank you po, sir. Any questions?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Sir, before I make my motion, sir, may I request the recommendation of the technical working group, sir?
Mr. Chair, we recommend to adopt the recommendation of the end user to change the mode of procurement from competitive bidding to small value procurement.
Thank you, TWG. Mr. Chair, move to adopt the recommendation of technical working group and end user to change the mode of procurement from competitive bidding to small value procurement, Mr. Chair, for the project purchase request internet subscription for CATC Manila Tower Power Plant and Manila Transmitter.
Any second? Jimmy, any?
I second the motion, sir.
Thank you. So we adopt the recommendation of the TWG for pakibalik nga, from a competitive bidding to, ano yung isa? Small value.
Small value, sir.
procurement.
Opo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving on to the next agenda item, 3.2, for the determination or confirmation of mode of procurement for the project purchase of janitorial supplies for CAAP Central Office with CBE number 23-040361 in the amount of 941,930 pesos, an AFS BGMS project. BGMS, please. Thank you.
Good morning to our Bids and Awards Committee. This is Rita Linda Palayor for FMD, BGMS particularly. Permission to share my screen on the details of the project. And also, I would like to mention the presentation of Ma'am Cheryl Walikan as precedence to my presentation. So item 3.2, this is for determination, confirmation of mode of procurement for the purchase of janitorial supplies for CAAP Central Office. Certificate of Budget Allocation number 23-40361. This is our CBA, our approved purchase request, and our APP. As I mentioned, as precedence, the report of Ma'am Cheryl Walikan, this project has been presented to the CCC. However, it was we were instructed to revert it back for a back resolution. That's why we are presenting the matter to our Bids and Awards Committee. And to justify, we are mentioning that the project is amounts to less than 1 million, and this is the end of the presentation.
Will you go back to your last slide?
This one, sir.
Before you...
Is this the one, sir?
Wala pa.
You're not yet sharing your screen, Ma'am Rita.
Okay, I'm sorry. Am I sharing it?
Not yet, ma'am.
Here one, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ayun,
The last,
justification.
yes, sir. This one, sir. Sir, in our approved APP, it was classified, the mode of procurement for the fund that we will be using for this project has been classified as competitive bidding from the budget of 5,142,900 as source of fund.
Just for
Yes, sir.
clarification,
Yes, sir.
ang LSERB mayroong ganitong janitorial services. Is that correct? Sa LSERB?
Um, I have uh, I have no data, sir, yet on janitorial services or supplies from LSERV, sir. This is for CAAP head office only, sir.
Through the chair, yes. Part of the contract there is, but this is on top of that. So I'd suppose. So that's part of the contract. In any case, if it's not going to be utilized, CAAP will not pay that. As a matter of fact, kung kasa nga yan, mas makakatipid pa tayo because that's less 15% admin fee or 3.5% admin fee when you charge it to them. But yes, that needs to be part of the LSERB contract. Otherwise, that's going to be considered as a labor-only contracting, which is illegal under the labor code.
Thank you. So,
The end user, sir, for this project, may I, recommends for the procurement through small value procurement instead of competitive bidding.
any comment, TWG?
Sir, the technical working group adopts the recommendation of the end user, sir, to change the procurement process, sir.
Before we act on that, confirm to the end user that it's going to be through the BM procurement service.
Through CCC, is that it, Mr. Chair?
Correct, but these are regular supplies, common use supplies, and therefore, under current existing rules, you have to get them from DBM-PS. Only then, after certification, that there is no available supply, can you proceed with sourcing it to other suppliers? Can you confirm
Yes.
that?
Yes, sir. We confirm on
Okay,
that, sir.
great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Motion to adopt the recommendation of the end user, Mr. Chair, and the technical working group to change the mode of procurement from competitive bidding to the small value procurement for the project purchase of janitorial supplies for CAAP Central Office.
Any second? Sir Jim,
Uh, I second the motion, sir.
any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving on to the next agenda item, still under the determination or confirmation of the mode of procurement for the project purchase of fire extinguisher to be installed at CAAP buildings and facilities with CBE number 23-07-0759 in the amount of 880,700 pesos on AFS BGMS project. BGMS, please. Thank you.
Yes. I would be presenting the slide again for this project. This is the CBA, copy of the CBA, copy of purchase request, same, also a copy of the APP, and we just have the same justification. These two, sir, is a project having the same status as the first one, the janitorial supplies. We have presented the matter to the CCC. However, we were instructed to revert it back to the committee, the Bids and Awards Committee, for the determination, confirmation of mode of procurement, which as end user, we recommend to be through small value procurement instead of competitive bidding.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rita. Just a question. Are you supposed to share your screen, ma'am?
For one, can we have a list of locations where to have this where do you station these items, these fire extinguishers? And saan nyo ba ilalagay yan? Ilang units ba itong fire extinguishers? What type? Ilang pounds?
Ma'am Rita, could you please zoom in to the slide where the copy of the PR is pasted? Yes, ma'am.
If I may, Mr. Chair. as stated in the purchase request by the end user, it's a 10 pounds fire extinguisher. It's a fire extinguisher dry chemical, fire extinguisher chemical, HCFC chemical, sir, and fire extinguisher dry chemical monoammonium phosphate, sir. All of which are 10 pounds, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Before I make my motion, Mr. Chair, may I know the recommendation as well of the technical working group, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We move to adopt the recommendation of the end user to change the procurement, the mode of procurement for this project.
Thank you, Attorney Nestor. Motion, Mr. Chair, move to adopt the recommendation of TWG and end user to change the mode of procurement from from competitive bidding to small value procurement for the project purchase of fire extinguisher to be installed at CAAP buildings and facilities.
Any second?
I second the motion, sir.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving on to the next main agenda item for this meeting, agenda item 4 for the discussion on the addendum to memo brief regarding the M-size extension contract beyond the 1-year allowable period to extend an CSIS project, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, before I move on to my presentation, can I please ask that the previous presenters be excused from the meeting already, Mr. Chair?
Discussion lang ito.
So for those who are not participating in the discussion here, you are now excused as per the advice of Mr.
Permission
Chair.
to leave.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm now presenting. Again, we are now presenting the contract extension for Area 1 Security Services Agreement. So we had a meeting, the BAC TWG had a meeting last week, sir, Friday, to discuss our recommendation regarding this matter. As a brief background, on February 1, 2022, the original 3-year security services agreement on Area 1 with Eagle Matrix has expired. Due to the delay on the procurement of the security service agreement on Area 1, the contract with MSI has been extended on a month-to-month basis. On January 30, Air Center Manager Ronald Estabilio issued a memorandum stating their reservation on the contract extension with MSI, which already exceeded the 1-year period allowed by the IRR of RA 9184, and that their resident COA is closely monitoring the implementation of security services in Area 1. On February 7, 2023, Area Center Manager issued another memorandum reiterating his previous memorandum and endorsed a draft letter to GPPB for CSIS's approval. On June 5, 2023, ELS discovered that the resident COA of Area 1 manifested that any payments due to MSI for the months beyond the allowed period of contract extension will be disallowed. Area 1 requested ELS to consider the endorsement of approval of the contract extension to the Director General. After a careful review and evaluation, the ELS, the Enforcement Legal Service, concluded that it is advantageous for CAAP to have the contract extension be signed by the Director General rather by the Area Center Manager of Area 1. Further, not only that it is advantageous, the said delegation of approval and signature of contract extension to ACM is not absolute or mandatory. Number 8, June 15, 2023, ELS discovered that the manifestation made by the resident COA of Area 1 was made verbally. In order to put it on record, Area 1 informed ELS that they will be issuing another memorandum to reflect the said manifestation by the resident COA. On June 22, Area Center Manager issued another memorandum stating, among others, that they are reiterating their January 30 memo and emphasized that in one of their meetings with the resident COA, he strongly manifested that any payments made in connection with the extension through the contract will be disallowed. Here is now the discussion of this matter. So we are citing the recommendation of ELS. So again, ELS recommendation for the period of February 2023 onwards. So as stated by the recommendation, subject to the issuance of a BAC resolution recommending that DG approves and signs the contract extensions, ELS argued the following. 1, there's a need to extend the security services contract of Area 1 in order to maintain status quo and protect the CAAP Area Center 1, its employees, and the public availing the services of Area Center 1. 2, monthly holdover contracts with total amount not exceeding 10 million pesos may be approved by the area cluster manager, provided that any extension thereof shall be subject to further approval by the Director General. Thus, since the contract extension does not exceed 10 million, it may be signed by the area cluster manager. Clearly, the use of the word may connote permissibility and not mandatory. Thus, the request of Area Center 1 may be granted in order to continuously extend the security services contract in the said area. Continuing with their discussion, ELS stated that it is most advantageous to CAAP to secure the contract extension here at CAAP main office and be signed by the DG in order to avoid an impending disallowance of payment to MSI by the resident COA of Area 1. The approval of the said contract here at CAAP main office is highly recommended by ELS. Further, the CSIS confirmed that the bidding of security service agreement for Area 1 is still currently ongoing. In light of this, the contract extension for security services agreement on Area 1 is highly recommended in order to maintain safety and security on Area 1. ELS further cited Section 5 of Appendix 24 of the RIR of RA 9184. To wit, 5.0 procedural requirements, all contract extensions shall be subject to the prior approval of the head of the procuring entity or his or her duly authorized representative upon recommendation of the Bids and Awards Committee. So now, let me allow to present the said Appendix 24 in full. So here's the full context of that cited provision by ELS. Again, as stated in Appendix 24, procuring entities may extend the duration or effectivity of an ongoing contract about to expire under the following conditions. 4.1, no contract extension shall exceed 1 year. 4.2, the original contract subject of the extension was awarded in accordance with the provisions of RA 9184 and its IRR. 4.3, the procuring entity concerned has substantially undertaken the procurement activities required prior to award of the new contract under RA 9184 and its IRR. Next, the aforesaid contract extension is undertaken due to circumstances beyond its control, and the procuring entity concerned cannot award the new contract within a month after the expiration of the term of the original contract. Next, the contemplated extension is merely an emergency measure to maintain status quo in the operations of the procuring entity and to avoid interruption of service. 4.6, the current service provider has not violated any of the provisions of the original contract. 4.7, the terms and conditions of the original contract shall not be changed or modified, except when changes or modifications will redound to the advantage of the government at no additional cost to the procuring entity. So there are also procedural requirements as stated. So again, all contract extensions shall be subject to the prior approval of the head of the procuring entity or his or her duly authorized representative upon recommendation of the Bids and Awards Committee. In addition to the foregoing, if the proposed contract extension exceeds 6 months, the head of the procuring entity or duly authorized representative shall immediately report to the GPPB in writing of its intent to extend beyond 6 months. So we cited the procedural requirements just to give you a full context of the cited provision. But as discussed and as decided by the TWG, Mr. Chair, we are of the opinion and recommendation that the authority cannot extend the contract anymore as it is already beyond 1 year. Further, there is a specific NPM or a non-policy matter decision released by GPPB that was already released in 2018, which falls squarely with the case of CAAP, which states, Mr. Chair, that in case a service contract was extended, such extension must be in accordance with the reference guidelines, which provides for a maximum of 1 year extension period. Any extension of contract that shall pass the 1 year maximum period is not in accord with existing guidelines, hence invalid. So it was represented that the 1 year period of extension of contract already expired, hence services rendered after the expiration is not supported by a valid contract. Further, the said NPM stated that any payment made for services rendered may be subject of an audit or a COA audit for lack of a valid contract to support the payment. Nonetheless, the security agency may file a money claim in the proper forum to receive payment for services rendered outside the valid contract under the principle of quantum merit. And then the decision cited parts of a case, FF Macop Construction versus CA, and the Manila International Airport Authority, wherein it just iterated that payment may be made to the contractor by principle of quantum merit through filing the proper money claim, and that is before COA proper. So, sir, for the consideration of the members of the committee, sir, these are our discussions and recommendations, sir.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, Mr. Chair, the recommendation of the technical working group is not to allow the extension of contract.
That is right, Attorney Frank.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Because I'm just worried, Mr. Chair, if we are going towards this direction, what will happen to the security services in Area 1, considering that, of course, maybe the existing provider will pull out its...
Not only Area 1.
Yeah, because we're talking here, sir.
Not only Area 1, yes. We're talking about area, but before we dwell into that, I would just like to, if with the permission of the Vice Chair, would just like to take into account and let's have cognizance whether or not we have jurisdiction on passing this. Apparently, the existing or the ongoing procurement is being handled by BAC Alpha. So why are we then the BAC that is going to approve the extension? Why was it given to us? Because we're services, goods and services. And the ongoing one is already being deliberated. Is that why? Would that not constitute inconsistencies? Maybe we should refer this to Alpha. In any case, let's go continue on with the discussion. I just want to make that of record because we may be dealing with something that we do not have jurisdiction on, and we're very particular with that. But in any case, let's discuss the merit. If we do decide that we do not have jurisdiction anyway, we can always transmit the minutes of the deliberation for consideration of Alpha. Thank you. Jen B, go ahead, please. You're going to say something. But I'm also concerned and share the manifestation of Attorney Frank because this will have far and wide-ranging implication on our security and our airport operations. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We had been bidding these security requirements of CAAP. And I think we are not remiss on this. It's just so happened na nag-fail. So we have examined ano ba talaga yung bakit nag-fail. And yung mga tiyak natin, tiyak conducting all the inspections and acceptance, they have recommended talaga na disqualified o hindi anong tawag doon, non-compliant yung agency. So we cannot do anything about these non-compliances. For one, yung ano yung latest? Yung sa Cebu? Area 7. Area 7, we needed 157 guards. Only 37 has passed the required qualification. So we examine kung ano ba talaga ang naging lapses or kailangan baguhin sa TOR. So we came up with a 12-hour recommendation para magkaroon ng guards na makukuha yung agency. So yun ang ayaw ng guard nung 8 hours because almost all our agencies, private and government, are using already yung 12-hour requirement. Yung kwan nila, yung gusto nila. And dito naman sa atin, ginawa natin 12 hours, we are recommending 12 hours except yung mga vital installations tulad ng tower, mga radar sites, mga equipment natin na nasa area. So I think yung recommendation na kuha na lang na ano yung recommendation na
Not to extend. No?
Not to extend.
Recommendation is not to recommend to the Director General.
I think it's more disadvantageous sa CAAP.
No. Sa akin naman, I understand talagang operationally hindi natin siya kayang magawa. But I also understand the position of the technical working group because the position is legal and Attorney Nestor is merely echoing a legal provision. But we still have to find a way on how to ensure that there will be no break in our security services. But at this point, we're open to suggestions because right now, if the TWG is not recommending on the legal grounds, I'm not sure how we're going to recommend to the Director General if there is no legal regime that allows us to do so.
Meron tayong example ng Panglao. We hired how many JOs? 80 plus or 70? 80 plus JOs. Yung JO are only limited to certain security works. Nakabatuta pa nga eh. They are not allowed to handle firearms. Which is hindi sa isang security guard eh. Hindi desired. It's not a desired.
Janby, how many areas are we talking about here? How many area centers currently has exceed the 1-year period?
So 11 na sir, 11.
11.
Kasi yung area 5.
Ibig sabihin wala pang na-award sa which one? Area 12. All the others exceeding na ng 1-year period. we're really open to suggestions. If anybody can let us know possibilities on how to go about this problem, we're open. Because I remember even during the pandemic, this has been a problem, and I personally discussed this with Colonel Hill, and at that time, the chair of the BAC Bravo, Attorney Gumabon. And even after we had an SBAC headed by Colonel Bal, wala pa rin nangyari. So, again, this is not without the effort of the security and the BAC also. It's just that wala talagang nananalo. But I want to understand, I want a deeper research. Kung anybody can suggest and recommend, let's do it.
There
But
were
let us know.
recommendations actually to use Coast Guard personnel, pero they were being utilized sa sa airports as sa COVID related functions.
Yeah.
So hindi sila talaga
One thing is really, kasi marami na tayong utang sa kanila, di ba? Isa pa rin yun, kailangan mong bayaran yung utang mo. So doon magpa-file pa sila ng money claim. And we know how long it takes for them to do that, and it's also unfair to our suppliers and service providers. But yes, Gen B is correct. There are other mitigations and contingencies. ABSE Group is one. I understand we discussed it with them when we had the meeting with their regional director or their head.
Actually, ABSE Group is already low sa personnel. When I went to Siargao, the requirement is 20 ABSE Group personnel. They have only 12.
Right.
But
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, if I may, with the revised TOR, Mr. Chair, with the updated TOR, I think another round of procurement would entice more perspective. Service providers, security providers to join us kasi medyo industry na siya yung practice ngayon 12 hours pagkatapos yung mga other conditions ata in-improve na din. So maybe in our succeeding procurement we can award, but again, it's not really a guarantee kasi yun na nga, procurement naman siya, so open to everyone, and we are not sure whether yung other conditions ma-meet din ng prospective bidders.
True, but how do we resolve this problem now? Because one, meron na tayong, I understand meron ng months na walang contract, no? Meron ng months. Ano ba yung pinapa-approve sa atin? Extension. These extension are prospective. Tama? So even if we do prospective, yung mga naiwan, how do we pay that? Yung mga walang kontrata. I think yun yung mga hindi mabayaran, ano?
Yes, sir. For Area 1, sir, wala silang kontrata. For Area 1, sir, wala silang kontrata since February. So, February until September, sir, wala pong contract kaya hindi sila mabayaran. Yun po yung nire-request nila ng sir, signatory dito sa atin.
Pull out sila. So how do we resolve that? That's, I think, the question.
Pero they have submitted already the billing statement. Naka-prepare na.
Yes, sir.
The only thing is approval from us.
The contract, sir, no contract. Kasi, sir, no payment po.
Contract lang, JNP, wala daw.
Pero meron ka na naki-prepare na contract? For approval lang?
Based sa Area 1, sir, meron na. Nandun na sa kanila yung kontrata, yung signatory na lang, sir. Since dito sa atin, tatransmit lang, dito na sa atin, pipirma, sir. Yes, sir. Only Area 1 po. Dahil dun sa COA, sir, na nag-flag sa kanila. Wala, sir. Verbally lang, sir.
Yan kanina sa present mo na hindi talaga si COA will not send us a letter that they will disallow. Minanifest niya lang during the conference.
If I may read, sir, from the background, sir. June 22, 2023, ACM issued another memorandum stating, among others, that they are reiterating their January 30 memo and emphasized that in one of their meetings with the resident COA, we strongly manifested that any payments made in connection with extension through PEV 2023 and beyond will be disallowed. Yes, sir.
Verbal from Area 1 Manager.
Yes, sir. COA later made a repeated verbal statement that they will disallow the extension, and Area Center 1 reduced that to a memorandum, sir, in at
So
least
our
two
problem
separate
is really Area 1 only. The other areas are still doing it by themselves. Okay, that's good. So the recommendation of legal is for DG to approve and for us to recommend. But what are we recommending? Extension on what basis? Do we have the authority? And according to the TWG, we do not have, because this is beyond already the 1-year period.
Sir, in our discussion last week, sir, while that was our recommendation, we also realized, sir, the impact of this in our operations. We also know that we cannot leave our airports unmanned, as it will be a bigger security issue. Hence, sir, while we recommend that while we don't recommend extending the contract further through a back resolution, we also leave it to the members of this committee to decide whether a resolution to extend is proper, because we realize the larger impact of not extending the contract, sir. We're just making a legal recommendation based from what we found, what we researched, sir.
So parang ang nangyayari, labas kami dyan, kayo nang bahala. Ganon, ano? So, hugas kamay ang TWG, back members ang pagde-decide. Okay. Can't blame them, yun ang nasa batas. Attorney Frank, other members?
Mr. Chair, maybe we can ask ELS Mr. Chair to possibly bring this matter to COA Area 1 and further discuss for any measures or ways for us not to, considering, to present the whole picture of the Area 1 the Area 1 security requirements, sir, and the back proceedings that failed several times already. Maybe it was not presented to the COA.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe may ibang research, may legal research na pwedeng makita or what. But I know they exhausted already. I don't know also what's the basis really of ELS for recommending the extension for signature of the DG and versus the recommendation of our TWG. Because by and large, how can we act if the recommendation of our TWG is inconsistent with the recommendation of the legal department, no? Parang, this is what I'm talking about when your backs are on the wall. Really, whatever the TWG, it's really clear anyway based on their presentation that that's really the legal way of doing it. But can we just maybe ask the legal department to also make a presentation in our next meeting? I am not sure I am ready to make a recommendation at this point. I don't know with the other members, Sir Jaime, Attorney Frank, and Jen B. But this is a problem. This is a brewing problem that is that requires immediate resolution. How about, can we, okay, moving forward, what we're going to do with this discussion is TWG please coordinate with ELS and make a presentation of their own. We would want a more in-depth study on this. Let's exhaust everything. I know you've been doing good research already, but let's try to find more. Maybe there's a precedent. At this moment, I cannot believe that there is no recourse for an agency that has done everything it could. We could have done it better, but right now, as mentioned by General Banayat, the failure is more of on the prospective bidders based on their qualifications. Also, maybe the very strict anong tawag doon, yung acceptance committee, right? Because they want to ensure that we're compliant with the terms of reference. The industry and the security industry has also changed, so maybe there are some terms of reference that are obsolete and no longer consistent with the requirement of CAAP, and those that can be provided by the security agency. Let's just take a look one more time. So that's our action on this. But moving forward, do we know already how many areas are pending with BAC Alpha? How many procurement for security? If so, how many will be with us? And why is it not yet being deliberated? When can we start deliberating those that are supposed to have new, fresh contracts?
Sir, we already forwarded four area centers. Area Center 4, 5, 8, and 9 for pre-procurement, sir.
Dito sa atin?
Yes, sir. We are waiting for the schedule po.
Where is it? Secretariat?
Sa back, sir.
Saan na yan?
Sa atin o Alpha?
I think sa back Bravo, sir.
Where is it?
I think Mr. Chair is already with back office, and they actually included in the next agenda the pre-proc. Kindly double check because
When is the next meeting?
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay, the Vice Chair will preside, but don't cancel that. We need that.
It's already on calendar, sir, for
For?
our next meeting.
For?
For pre-proc. 4 areas.
4 areas. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. No problema
Yeah.
natin.
As confirmed, sir, by Secretariat, it's for Wednesday.
Okay. Let's prioritize that, please. We do not want our principals to be hounding us on this. Kasi ngayon, nasa atin na yan eh. So, pag sinabi mong nagkamali dyan, sa atin na yan, whether it's with Alpha or whether it's with the other back, sa atin na yan. So, take cognizance of that and let's ensure that we will be on time. Alam na, Sir Jenby, okay na yung TOR nito, no? Wala nang issues.
I think mas makukumply na to and we will have additional bidders. Actually, may mga bidders tayo noon. Mayroon tayong World Cup, tsaka yung isa pa. It's just unfortunate na disqualified sila sa first envelope.
Okay. Sige.
Just para makita natin kung ano talaga status. Kasi most of this will have to undergo board meeting para sa mga board members. Para the DDJ will be updated para maisingit sa board meetings.
Yes, sir. For approval of board regarding the uh, failure of bidding, we have 4 area centers with more than 50 million for approval of failure of bidding. That is Area 3, Area 6, Area 7, and Area 11. The rest of the items are shown without, yung hindi naka-highlight po, yun po yung for discussion pa sa BAC. Meaning, for discussion ng failure of bidding due to revise in the terms of reference po. So, we have 6 area centers. Hopefully, ma-discuss din po siya after the pre-proc para ma-declare yung recommendation na failure of bidding due to revise terms of reference, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I may suggest, sir, siguro include na lang natin yung, i-expedite natin yung discussion sa back para maisama na siya lahat sa next board. Isang presentation na lang yung declaration of failure of bidding due to the change of terms of reference as well as yung mga budget, may change in budget din ata. Yan, tama ba din?
Let's finish everything. Let's prioritize this. As a matter of fact, really, one of the major thrusts of Bravo is to ensure that the security contracts are fresh. And we'll have a new set of contracts. More than the ANS, sorry to say that, but wala naman kasing issue dun sa ANS and sa other goods and services, no. But one of the major trusts why we're created is because of the delay in the security services. So let's push for this, and then we can focus also on the ANS and our air navigation. Let's reorient the agenda and the timings. I hope si Sir Alex will not mind, and our ANS friends and colleagues. I think right now we just need to ensure that we will have fresh contracts for our security services. Imagine the implication when they pull out. Imagine the security implications. Very recently, someone threw a Molotov bomb in NAIA Terminal 3. If that happens in any of our airport, and then the congresspersons and the senators will know that we do not have any security contracts, that's going to be a scandal. So let's do it. Right? Okay? Kaya medyo hindi rin ako kumbinsido that there's no recourse for us under law, whether it's the civil code, whether it's suppletory only to the procurement law. I'm sure there is something there that would allow us to do maybe not extension. So let's ask legal's help to further study this. I don't think it's an option for us not to have a security agency at this point, or any security elements that would secure the facilities. These are critical and vital installations. Okay? So, all right, to sum it up, we need to ask legal to present on Wednesday. We push on with the presentation of four now, so good. And then we stick by that schedule. If Gen B is okay, either myself or General Banayat, we need to be present, at least one of us to preside. And please, I implore the members of the BAC, the members of the TWG and the Secretariat to also align with us on this prioritization. Thank you. Anything else from the other?
Just to be
Yes,
clarified,
Gen B.
meron siyang binanggit si Miss Oding na 3 areas pa eh. Hindi yung 4 o ano yun, Wednesday. Mayroon ka pang binanggil 3 for presentation sa board.
Yes, sir. Bali yung 4 area centers po ang more than 50 million. So, since we have to present to the board, isasabay na lang po siya kasi may mga area centers pa na hindi na-declare yung failure of bidding. So next, isasabay na rin po yung presentation and approval of failure bidding of the other area centers.
Isasabay saan? Sa board?
Sa Wednesday?
As suggested by Attorney Frank.
Mm.
Di ba meron
Clarify, isasabay, when you say isasabay, ang susunod na board presentation is for notice of award pag natapos natin yung 4, right?
Sir, if I may, for the failure of bidding, we also have to present to board, sir.
Yes,
for
yes, I know
reconciliation.
that because that's beyond the 50 million
Yes, sir.
threshold. But you're saying, pag sasabayin, so hindi mo muna sila i-present, ano bang timeline natin kapag pinresent nyo sa Wednesday itong 4? Matatapos ba natin yan? Di ba ang pinaka 20 ilang days? 26 days? Is that what our agreement? Matatapos natin yan ng 26 days. Pag natapos mo yan ng 26 days, end of October, that's supposing matapos mo siya ng, which I doubt. Kasi kung Wednesday, give it 30 days, October, pwede actually. Ibig sabihin, November pa tayo makakapag-present even ng failure? No.
I think yung failure, sir, i-present na this
Yes.
coming board.
Huwag niyo pagsabayin.
Yung sa pre-pro, proceed na tayo, sir, this Wednesday po. Yung 4.
Kasi yung area 3, area 7, and area 11, yung tatlong area center na yun, hindi pa po natin hindi pa na-approve ng BAC for failure. So yun po yung ipe-present on Wednesday.
Wait,
Alpha.
what? Okay, anong areas yung ipe-present on Wednesday sa atin sa Bravo?
Area 4,
4,
area
5,
4, 5,
8, and
8,
9.
and 9, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Ano
sir.
yung sinasabi mo na kailangan pang i-declare na failure?
Area na hindi pa nadidiscuss. So, area 1, area 2, area 3, area 7, 10, and 11. And
So walang problema if we present 4, 5, 8, and 9 on Wednesday?
Yes, sir. Walang problema.
Yan lang ang gusto ko malaman. Ano yung gusto mong i-discuss na pagsabayin?
1, area 1, area 2, area 3, area 7, 10,
Yan ang kailangan
11.
di-declare ng
Yes, sir.
board na failure. I know.
Ng
Area
box,
1 hindi kailangan. Area 2 hindi kailangan. Ano pa sabi mo? Area 8 lang ang kailangan dito eh.
Area 10, sir. Area 10 and NCR.
No, area 10 is 47 million eh.
Yes, sir.
So hindi kailangan.
Yes, sir. But area 11 and area 7 and area 3.
11 kailangan. Area
7,
8,
sir.
area 7.
Yes, sir.
At walang inconsistency sa schedule. So let's push through on Wednesday when we present area 4, area 5, area 8, and area 9. Because area 8, while it's beyond 50 million, this has already been declared failure. Okay, so let's push through with that. Okay, and then ask BAC Alpha on their next meeting to declare the failure of those that they can and those that they couldn't on the basis of the excess in threshold. We include it to the board, and the corporate secretary is here. Take note of that. Okay, so klaro tayo on that. So by end of October, after the board meeting, na-declare na lahat ng failure, naka-4 na tayo. So by the time it was declared failure by BAC, isusunod natin yung yon, which are area 1, area 2, and area 10 and NCR. So kaya na yan. So kung makapag-meet tayo ng Wednesday and makapag-meet ang BAC Alpha, by next week, Attorney Frank, TWG and Secretariat, pwede na ba tayong mag-pre-proc for those 4, another 4? Oh, so that's our schedule. Kailan ang board natin, Esther? So October 19. After October 19, that week, I will be out. Hindi, nakabalik na ako after noon. Are you sure you're going to hold it on the 19th? Wala kami ni DJ niyan. You want it earlier? Yes, sana earlier. When was the last board? Oh, so pwede ka na mag first or second week before ang DGCA. First week na October, okay na. Next week na yun, no? Kulang. O di second week, o kaya na. O after that, by third week, Gen B can preside, pwede na i-pre-procure more than 50 million. So lahat tapos natin by October. By November or first week ng December, meron tayong new contracts. That will be our goal. Okay? Alright. Tapos pag pumirma tayo ng notice of award, si DG naman yon, yung resolution to the secretariat, route it here, okay? Huwag nyo nang paikutin. Ang tagal-tagal magpaikot. Okay? Hindi pwede gawin yon, ha? The members take their time. Sa Bravo, let's not do that because lahat kayo naka-attend, lahat tayo naka-attend. So you know more or less what are we talking about. So have it signed. Isa pang matagal daw, based on experience, TWG, sign it here. Pag sign ng TWG, route it here habang nag-aano tayo, habang nagmi-meeting tayo. Okay? So that's the guidance from the chair and we will comply with that. Just make sure that before you give it to the members, kumpleto na yung signature ng TWG. So pag nakumpleto na yung signature ng BAC, nandun na yung resolution, immediately submit it to ELS for legal pass, give it back to me, I'll have it signed by the DG. Okay? So that's our process para comply natin yung first week ng November for new contracts. Okay? All right.
Mr. Chair, may we request also our members of TWG to attend in person already, follow your advice po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, as a matter of fact, everybody should attend physically. TWG, Secretariat, and the members. I appreciate that. But if you're in travel, we will still maintain the virtual facility. Okay, but we would really appreciate if the members of the BAC can attend physically. Okay? Total, again, I would like to remind that this is jury duty. All right? Thank you. Yun lang. And Gen B, Frank, Sir Jaime, comment?
Noted, sir.
Thank you. Any more for discussion? Other matters?
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Jimmy,
Second the motion, sir.
any objection? Hearing none.